Hey everybody, welcome in to our October 2025 Q&A session here live on my YouTube channel. As always, we will give a couple minutes for folks to file in, jump over to the chat, and let us know if you would where you're joining us from. I'd love to see where you guys are at in the world. Looks like we're live. It looks like we're live. Good to see Derek Short in the house. Welcome in. Yeah, guys, jump in the chat. If this is your first time jumping in on a Q&A session, these are super casual. They're real chill. Everyone here is awesome. So let's have some fun together. And I will be down to answer any web design business questions or web design questions in general. Lots to talk about. I can get some topics started for us, but we will definitely leave plenty of room for all of your questions. So on that note, and until YouTube hopefully finally puts a Q&A box in place, if you would, when you have a question, drop in the chat and just put a Q in front of it so I know it's a question and I can scan it as we get some more folks joining here. So sometimes the chat gets pretty lit and I love it. Drewski here from San Francisco. I have my questions ready to go. I'll add them to a notepad throughout the month. Awesome. All right. Well, drop your first one when you're ready there, Drewski. Drop it in there and I will be happy to answer. Welcome in if you guys just joined us live, by the way. Really good to see everybody here. I think we're going to have a fun little session here where, again, I'm going to answer any questions you have for me, web design business or web design in general. We can hit anything that's on your mind. Good to see you here from Vancouver, British Columbia. Canucks fan? Canucks fan, are you? I'm very personally excited about the Blue Jackets starting and hockey getting back underway. So it's a good season. It's a fun season. And in Columbus, Ohio, we've had kind of a delayed summer. So I've still been mowing 2 to 3 times a week. And my little guy, some of you Web Designer Pro members have seen this, but my little guy Drexton just turned 3 yesterday. So we now have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And his favorite activities of all time really have to do with yard work. And it just lights me up. He's a aspiring lawn weenie like his daddy. So, oh, a Maple Leafs fan. Wow. All right. All right. Shh, I won't tell anybody. Good to see you guys here. Hey, Austin. Good to see you. Austin, I just messaged you in Pro. He's a Web Designer Pro member. We just booked an additional room for our upcoming 2026 ProCon event. So Web Designer Pro members, you got informed about this, but we do have a date set for our next Web Designer Pro in-person conference, which is going to be April in 2026. It's Bev. Okay, Bev. Awesome. I always, with titles on the YouTube names, unless it's somebody I know really well, I have trouble remembering names. So good to see you, Bev. Thanks for letting me know that. All right, guys. Well, hit me with your questions. And as they come in, one thing I did want to make note of, I'll put this in the chat, but for those of you who are subscribed to my newsletter, you can get it for free every week. Usually I send out a newsletter on Sundays with a tip, a strategy, or something to dive into. On this last newsletter, it was really a series of updates, both on business side and personal side. We'll hit those real quick and then we'll dive into questions. Number one, I let everybody know that the new version of my website, webdesignerpro.com, is live, and I'm super excited about it. Did a ton of work on this. I'm using Cinja so we actually, shout out to Chris, my VA, who helped me literally migrate well over 400 reviews from all my courses over from WordPress into Cinja, or it was from WooCommerce to Cinja. And man, am I loving Cinja. It is really, really cool. You can create these fancy testimonial displays if you have video or text. I've got them throughout the site here. So check out webdesignerpro.com. Number one, if you want to join us to get all the information you need to see where is the best fit for you to dive in first, but also to check out these testimonials. I hope the new design, the new layout, the structure helps give you some inspiration depending on what you're looking to do for your site or maybe some of your client's site. This is all Cinja, by the way, though. I really, really like it. Super excited about it. So check that out. And speaking of this, I'm super excited about the new version of webdesignerpro.com. It is now several pages. It used to be just a one landing page site, but we've got courses page, like a page dedicated to all the courses, to community and coaching specifically. And this is what I'm probably most excited about. And this is kind of an encouragement to you if you are not sure of your customer profiles, your customer avatars. One thing I've identified in Pro that I'd like you to think about right now with your clients or your ideal clients is what stage of business are they at? Particularly if you have different offers for different folks in different stages. For example, you may do branding and web design, which means you're probably going to attract people that either really in two buckets, people that either have an existing brand and it's terrible and they have a logo that was made on PowerPoint in 1999 and it needs to be redone, or you've got startups who don't have a brand yet and they need copy and they need to figure out their mission, their vision, all these other things that go into a brand. So what I would recommend for you is to do something similar to what I did here in Pro, which is that I've identified 3 different categories of essentially types of members. Their profile, if you will. One are, I tell you what, you guys let me know in the chat, which one are you? This is not I'm not going to force you to join Pro right now, but I want to hear from you. Do you identify as a builder, a grower, or a scaler? Jump in the chat and let me know. A builder is an early stage web designer. You're probably very new or brand new, and you're just trying to start and build your business from the ground up. If you're a grower, it means you've had a web design business for a little while and you're growing. Not an exact revenue mark, but maybe you're on track to do 50K or 75K and you want to get to 6 figures. Let me know if you guys are a grower. Just put builder, grower, or scaler. And then if you're a scaler, this will also help me know how to answer some of these questions in this Q&A. A scaler is somebody who is likely at the 6-figure mark because you are scaling your business. If you're US based in your USD rates, you have a small team around you and you are having growing and scaling pains. You're more interested in freeing up your time as somebody who is scaling their business and interested in refining your systems, delegating, team building, maybe even productizing. Let me know in the chat if you guys would. Where are you? Builder, grower, or scaler? And I'm showing you this again to encourage you to think of something similar for your clients and your leads. Try to put them in a bucket and maybe even give them a name like I have done here. Like it's funny, a lot of people who have joined Pro more recently tell me like, I'm definitely a builder, or I'm definitely a grower, or I'm a scaler. And then I can direct them, with exactly what they need better when they join Pro. For you, this will help you with your services as well, because you could say, look, if you're in bucket A or bucket B, you need this. You need branding and web design. But maybe if you're in bucket C and you've already got a strong brand, you just need, these type of services. So yeah, I hope that helps, guys. Let's get to some questions now. Good to see Will here from Toronto. Welcome in. Let me close a couple windows here, and then let's have some fun while the questions come in. So first question is, forgive me, can you drop your name, Image Form Studio? The SEO course is next up. My goal and my hope is to get it done for sure by the end of this year. It absolutely will not be out by the end of this year or in 2026. My goal is to get it done the end of this year for sure. What I'm actually really glad that I have kind of gone slow with revamping it, simply because there's so much going on in the wake of AI and SEO. And subsequently, Michelle Berbiniere, who is my kind of personal SEO strategist and expert, is going to be on the podcast next week, sharing 5 things that are staying exactly the same with AI SEO, but then 5 things that are changing. So that's next up. That is the next project for myself. I've been working really hard on the new website and doing a ton of other things. And another announcement real quick before we dive into questions is my daughter, Bria, my oldest, who many of you know is my little amazing special needs sweetheart. She is having a major surgery next week. So for the week or 2 after that, I'm going to be pretty much off the grid. But early November, once I get back on, the big project on deck is the SEO course, because I really want to start the year off in 26 with the SEO course ready to go. Drewski, got it. That's right, Bev. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Bev. Drewski. I love it. All right, guys. So Bev is a grower. Awesome. Drewski's a builder. Jeremy's a grower. Hey, Jeremy, good to see you. Awesome. And yeah, awesome. I know it's a big update to tackle and address. Yeah, and that's one thing I've learned as a course creator is it's very, very hard to have a suite of courses like I do with 9 courses that is going to remain up to date in the way of like a lot of like tools and dashboards and things like that. The good news is my SEO course, as it's currently stands, is actually still 100% valid. It's just there's some new verbiage and way of talking about it, and then obviously new stuff with AI that's going to be. I'm not going to just add lessons. I'm going to completely revamp the course. But all that to say, I'm definitely intentionally making these courses last as long as they can, which is the challenge. But like I said, the good news is, especially when it comes to AI SEO, if you just do basic good SEO principles, as in really good content that is read by humans but also appeases the robots, that's still it. Because all these AI engines, all these large language models are still pulling from Google and search engines. So if you can still basically, and yes, there's a case to be made that the way people are clicking is changing for sure, because people are finding answers and they might be finding personalized answers in ChatGPT, for example. So there's a lot of hubbub for SEO agencies in particular that I see where they're worried about campaigns for paid clicks. But as a web designer and as somebody who just wants to stand out online and get your brand out there, good old blogging, good success stories, good site structure, a well-built site, a clear site that's really clear with your brand, your offers, especially if you get into local SEO in your area, that's huge. So I'm really taking a firm stance in SEO being like real estate. And I personally, over the next year or two, you'll see this roll out as it's already been rolling out this year, my SEO strategy, which is to make Web Designer Pro own a large part of the web design business real estate. That's kind of my personal goal. So I'm actually, for anyone who says SEO is dead, I'm going all in. I am like all in on SEO, because in preparation for the next few years with all, whether it's Perplexity or Claude or ChatGPT or Grok, whatever, they are scraping the internet. And if you can look like an authority and be an expert in your area, in your field, with a search term, with a key phrase, the better. So I'm double clicking into SEO for sure. Hey, Russ, good to see you. Russ is a grower, slowly getting to the scaler level. Awesome, Russ. Well, if interested, Russ, I do have a free training on scaling if you want some tips to help with that. I'll put the link in here. This is something I'm planning on rolling out over to Web Designer Pro here soon. For right now, it's still at my personal site at joshhall.co/scale. So go check that out, Russ. Anyone who's interested in scaling, in fact, even if you're not interested in scaling yet, I would really recommend jumping in. It's a totally free masterclass, but this basically gives you some of my top tips from my full Scale Your Way course, which is the kind of the final course inside of my suite of courses inside of Web Designer Pro. But this is a 1-hour free training. It'll give you some resources to help you really get primed to scale. And obviously, Russ, when you're ready, I'd love to help you do just that. So recommend joining Web Designer Pro, and I can help you scale. Speaking of, the code is below, but right now in October, through the rest of this month, you guys can get 50% off your first month in Pro, which is valid on the courses and the community tier. And if you're interested in coaching, message me, Russ, because I just opened up the coaching tier again for another wave of folks. So if anyone is interested in coaching with me directly, let me know and we can talk, because I'll give you a certain something special if you're interested in coaching with me and you want to jump in October. Hey, Ann, good to see you. Ann is a builder. Awesome, Ann. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Thanks for mentioning where you guys are at, guys. It's a good mix of builders, growers, and scalers. And again, if you just joined us, welcome in. I was just talking a little bit about something that I did in Web Designer Pro. The new version of the website is something that I recommend you do, which is to give your customers some sort of basically like an archetype or something that helps them identify where they are and what services you offer that are going to be ideal for them depending on where they are. And again, web design customers aren't going to look like builders, growers, and scalers exactly, but they may be like startup, professional, elite or something like that. So let me know. I tell you what, jump in the chat. If you could put 2 to 3 categories on your clients, this is just a fun exercise. It may be a terrible idea. It's totally fine. Jump in the chat and let me know what your customers would fall into. Maybe you go in ChatGPT right now, and then based off of your services, you could kind of identify 2 to 3 categories. What would you call those? No rush on this, but jump in the chat and let me know if you could, if you could think of what you would call your customers. Startups, pros, what would be a good third? Maybe like executives. It sounds kind of weird. VIPs, you could call them VIPs potentially. Let me know what you guys are thinking with this idea. For me in Web Designer Pro, my members are either builders, growers, or scalers. But for you with your current clients, let me know what you think. Jake Hawks, good to see you. Welcome in. Says nonprofits, services, and healthcare. Okay, that's good. Yeah, because those would, you may have similar stories, but it could be a good like industry served type of approach there. For you, Jake, one thing I would do, I don't know what your website looks like right now, but one of my favorite examples of industry served is Content Snare. If you guys have followed my stuff for a while, you know that I love Content Snare. Not only because their owner is awesome, but they started specifically for web designers and agencies. And then what they realize is this is just a tool for collecting content. And then he was getting all sorts of leads from accounting and bookkeeping and CPAs, law firms, education and finance, folks who are collecting sensitive data along with digital agencies. So what he did was he grouped all of his clients into these industries served. So for you, Jake, you could probably do something similar to where you serve, in your case, it would be nonprofits, service businesses, and then healthcare. Or I would probably call, I guess it depends on what type of services exactly, but I would imagine you may want to just go with like small businesses, which would encapsulate services, unless you want to make it 4 or 5 categories. But that's what I would do. Awesome. Yeah, so let me know if that helps, Jake. And anyone interested in doing that. So we're talking about the potential categories you could give your clients, your leads. Austin says startups, 3-year sprint. That's interesting, Austin. And then established. So yeah, we should talk about that, Austin. Your 3-year sprints are those folks who are, and you could do that by year of experience or years of the business. You could say like business is under a year old or brand new, you need this set of services. Businesses that are 3 and under need this. And then if you're past 3 to 5 years of business, you may have a certain set of deliverables for them. Hey, Helene, with a great comment. I'm in the middle of an internship at a dev agency, so not sure if that's building. Perhaps I'm in the Lego stage. Yes, you are in the blocks. You're in the building block stage. And yeah, Helene, this is really, the folks who come into Web Designer Pro, we're really best suited for folks who are building their web design business and not just becoming a developer. There are much better places to learn, like coding, for example. That's something we really just touch the basics on in Web Designer Pro. It's not my expertise. It is, an important part as a web designer to know at least the basics of HTML and a decent amount of CSS. That's basically all I know. But yeah, you would be like, if you're just learning web design chops in general, you would, definitely be the building stage. But if that's more in reference of like building an actual business. But keep going, Helene. I hope you have some fun enjoying that. And then when you're ready to go freelance and then build your own business, come on over to Web Designer Pro. Guys, your special offer is below in the comments there, or in the description below. There is a special coupon code there for you that'll give you 50% off your first month in Web Designer Pro on the courses or community tiers when you're ready. You just got to make sure you use that by the end of the month. So jump on it to come on in and let's have some fun and grow your business and have some fun while we're doing it. So Brewski's got existing and non-existing clients. Fair enough. That's fair. I would encourage you though to think about your existing clients or who you want to be clients, and how can you group them into a category of some sort? because that would help you depending on your ranges and your packages. Hey, Anna, good to see you. Joined in the middle of the SEO convo, but a client asked if meta descriptions for her recipe blog should focus on getting readers to click and read the post or provide answers right in the meta. That's a good question, Anna. I think for recipe blogs, from my understanding, if you can give as much as you can with like a table of contents or a description that people could skim through and get in an AI overview or ChatGPT, that would be ideal for sure. But I would imagine, like most blog posts, especially recipes, you could probably go pretty far into a lot of this stuff that is not going to fit in an overview. So what I would do for her, Anna, and for anyone who is doing any sort of blogging that has basically like a checklist or something that could fit in an overview, which is going to be an AI overview, or again, anything from ChatGPT or anything like that, I would appease the robot and AI gods for sure and give them like, if you want to bake, Mama's fresh chocolate chip cookies or whatever her brand name is, then here's the ingredients and here's the steps. And then have the full blog that goes further into all of those steps if it's not going to fit in there. And some of these recipes I imagine are going to be that way. There's some who are going to be like, decent recipes that are not going to fit in a little checklist. So I would definitely essentially do both. I would go with like a table of contents style approach. Will says his customer categories are health practitioners and authors. Okay. So yeah, for you, Will, and for Jake and everyone else who was just looking at that, I would recommend doing the industry served. So follow Content Snare. Just go to contentsnare.com. It's a great example. I feature them in a couple of my courses for just this reason. Yeah, if you want to go niche or if you want to have industry served. Yeah. Oh, cool. Jake Hawk says their site is looking fresh to me. Probably have not been there for a few years. Yeah, that makes sense. I think they redesigned it probably a good 2 to 3 years ago, Jake, because I know I featured it in my design course and my updated business course, which was last updated in 23. So yeah, I did on the lesson on niching, I featured that. So it's probably like 22, probably like circa 22. I think there could be benefits both ways. Yeah, for sure. And that's why, like, one thing I would do is I wouldn't, and I'm not saying you're going to do this, Anna, but I have seen some people wonder if they should have a like condensed blog that's just like a quick answer and like a meaty blog. What I would do is one single piece of content that is really good, that keeps people on the page and keeps them engaged, especially if you can wrap a story around it. So if you have a recipe, but then there's some sort of story that keeps people on, the good news about all these large language models is they want to pull, just like Google, they want sites that have a high domain authority and are getting actual human visitors on the site interacting and reading. So there's maybe never a more important time for time on page. So when it comes to SEO, your time on page metric has just become gold, because the fact that a lot of these sites are not even being clicked on now because they're getting found in ChatGPT and overviews, it means that if you have a page that is getting clicked on and people are staying on there, it's going to be even more valuable, and it's going to have a much bigger likelihood of getting featured on ChatGPT, and whether it's the snippet or whether it's the source link or whether it's even pulling information from that page, that's the way to go. So yeah, I would do both, but definitely the table of contents will help. Austin said, I've just learned that I've attracted 3 groups. Those that are startups under a year, 1 to 3 years, that have a general idea how they want to grow and then establish. That's cool. I like that metric, Austin. I like the years of experience, basically. And you know the type of clients who are coming in. I know they vary depending on the industries. For folks who don't know, Austin is in Web Designer Pro as in the coaching tier. So, Austin, I've seen your business grow here. So yeah, we'll have to move this over to Pro after this, Austin, because I want to talk about like who you want to really, really attract in those categories and in those groups. And then maybe we can even productize an ideal path for clients who are under 3 years. They go to option 1, 3 to 5 years, go to option 2, and then, or actually, no, it'd be startup 1 to 3, and then 3+, which are established, they could go to option 3. So we could come up with something like that. Hey, Lilia, welcome in. She's a builder who's in transition to a grower stage. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Congrats. Pump for you, Lilia. Let me know if you have any questions about getting to that 6-figure mark. If you guys want some tips on 6 figures, let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to share some tips here with you. Yeah, Aaron says recipe blogs, recipe blog schemas are very important for click-through rates. Yeah. So schema and anything to do with like basically loading a blog post or a post type in particular with like as much metadata and schema information as you can, which is basically just the matrix of SEO. It's like what's going on behind the page. Still ideal. Again, despite a lot of click-through rates going down because of overviews and because of these AI models, it does not mean that it's not worth doing these articles. In fact, I think it's maybe even more important to have like pillar pieces of content that are very meaty that can be referred back to over and over and over. And again, with any type of like big meaty piece of content, you can always take chunks out and put those on social media or make little reels or clips or whatever. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Russ wants to know, do you have any passion projects you're working on the side at all? No, Russ, my passion project is luckily what I do, which is Web Designer Pro. I will say we just talked about this week in Web Designer Pro on a coaching call. We have one member who has she's a full-on entrepreneur. A lot of you know her, Lisa. She's all about Moxie, the CRM, and she's known as your Moxie Maven online. So she has a very webpreneur side of her business. And what I ended up doing in a lot of that coaching call was walking her through community building and how to have a community offer that is separate from a course offer. And there were some comments about if I would ever do coaching for community and community building and courses. And to your question, Russ, do I have any passion projects? That is the one thing I have to intentionally like reel myself in on, just because I just don't have the time or bandwidth to be able to like launch a whole nother business around coaching about community. So if I were to do anything as like a passion project, it would be that. It would be to start teaching more on like what I've learned as a community builder, as a course creator. But that's a whole different world. And I just don't have the time or bandwidth. And yeah, I don't want to pull my attention away from Web Designer Pro, and I don't want to pull my attention away from my family. I've got 3 kids, 7, 5, and now 3. Little guy just turned 3 yesterday. And a wife who I like to go out with on dates and stuff, and a family. So yeah, at the risk of like working 80 or 90 hours a week, I have had to keep my community building passion in a box until I have literal time and space to be able to open that. But opening Pandora's box, it would be. Although, interestingly enough, I have done some videos for Circle. If you guys search Circle, the community platform, you should see me come up now for that. And I really enjoy doing those videos because I love sharing what I'm doing. So oddly enough, like I'm getting requests for it. Maybe next year I'll do something in the way of like a free training about it, or maybe even just like a high level coaching program just strictly for community in courses. That's not like a suite of courses and, like community around it. But yeah, those are all just ideas right now. Not ready to commit to anything for sure. Yep. Been meaning to DM you, says Austin. A lot happened in the past 6 months. I know, Austin, our last catch up, man, you got me excited. So, I smell full time. So, Bev wanted to know about tips for 6 figures. Let's do this. I can rattle off some tips for sure, but I think what I might do is, I got to replace these graphics, but we have pathways inside of Web Designer Pro. And real quick, if you just joined us, welcome in. It's dang good to see you. We're having some fun. We're just talking shop. And one thing we've been talking about so far is the types of customers that we attract for Web Designer Pro. And in my mind, the middle category of customers are growers. You have a business, you have a web design business, you're a freelancer, you want to get to 6 figures. You need help and tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing If you're a grower, you want more recurring revenue. You want very clear offers. You want to raise your pricing. You want to be more profitable, especially if you're dipping your toe into building a small team or hiring out, and you just want better clients. I'm guessing those are the main problems you have. So these tips are going to help. When you join Pro, we have pathways, and some of these are a little more robust than others, but the one for this one just kind of highlights what I'll share with you now. So you guys are basically getting something I reserved for Pro members that you're going to get here just for coming to the YouTube live stream. And those are the top tips here, which I'll just cover real quick so we can get back to questions. But number one, you need six-figure pricing, which means if you're charging $1,000 for a website, you're going to need to sell 100 websites to make six figures. And unless it's uber productized, that is not sustainable or practical. Now, of course, you may have different income streams or revenue streams or packages, but you just need to make sure your pricing is on a spreadsheet and actually set for six figures. Side note, you can get my revenue calculator. If you are not signed up yet, head over to joshhall.co/newsletter. You'll get my newsletter, and the first thing I'm going to send you when you sign up for my email list, completely free, is my revenue calculator. And this is why I built this revenue calculator. I want you to map out your six-figure pricing. So do that first. The second thing I'll mention real quick, and we'll skim through some of these, is that you got to have larger price gaps. One thing I see that a lot of designers struggling to hit six figures get to is they have pricing that's really, really similar. And if you have, for example, websites that are 2,000 and 3,000, every lead that you bring in is going to go for the 2,000 range. There has got to be a larger separation between your packages. I personally like something that is basically 2x'd. So 2,500, 5,000, 10,000. Those prices right there will get you to six figures if you sell 2 or 3 of the top tier, a lot in the middle, and then a more productized service at 2,500 to 3,000. So that's another big one. As far as your packages and offers, one thing that I see a lot of web designers cause is confusion by having like this many services that you see right here. And as many of you know, one thing I teach in my business course inside of Pro is to categorize all your services into one of these 3 categories: build, support, grow. So that's going to be key for you. And that helps clients understand what you do and what's going to be more recurring revenue versus one-time services. Building your recurring revenue is going to be making sure you have a support and hosting and maintenance plan all wrapped up in there. This could also lead to growth plans like local SEO or marketing, but that gets into something a little more robust. But you could do, when you're ready, a growth style plan that has a lot of different options in it. I would really encourage you to funnel your clients. I have a framework in the business course here, which is you have quality client, like quality leads or questionable leads. And you do not want to talk to questionable leads. You don't want to spend 2 to 3 hours on multiple calls and meetings just to find out they have $500. That's not, so you got to have a really good funneling process, which I do walk you through in Web Designer Pro, specifically in the business course. And then the last thing I'll mention here, which is kind of my 6th tip for six figures, are referral partners. This is gold, my friends. Referral partners are absolute web designer gold. If you're in BNI or a networking group or any business meetups locally, yes, you can get direct clients through those groups and build your sales force like that. But one of the hidden gems there is to meet people who do work that is ancillary to you. So for example, you're a web designer. Let's say you really don't go far into SEO. It's one benefit of joining Web Designer Pro, for example, because you can get an instant referral network right when you join Pro. But if you're doing it in person, you can do that too by joining a networking group and being around SEOers, videographers, photographers, social media people, copywriters, if you don't do copywriting, even developers. If you don't do e-commerce, make a friend who does e-commerce, because you can be a referral source for them. And then they'll be a referral source for you if they don't touch the projects that you do. So referral partners, friends, that's the biggie. So quick recap on the 6 points. Number 1, make sure your pricing is actually six-figure pricing. Make sure you have larger pricing gaps between your packages. Make sure that you don't have like 39 different services that are all a la carte. Group them together, build, support, and grow. Number 4, build your recurring revenue, ideally to start with a website maintenance and support plan, which could lead you to growth plans eventually. 5 is to have questionable leads and qualified leads go through a different funnel when they enter your contact form and in your world, and then build those referral partners. So, Bev, does that help? Again, that is what you see inside of Web Designer Pro. That is my pathway for growers. And then that leads out to the corresponding lessons and courses that I recommend to dive deeper into those things. But let me know if that helps, Bev. Veteran Vibes Web Design. Love it. I like your logo too. That logo is freaking awesome. 2 V's, but it also makes a W. Chef's logo kiss. Have you ever looked into WordPress government contracts? Oh God, that sounds awful. Who knew there were massive WordPress contracts out there for government agencies? I wonder what extra regulations there are for all those bets. Woo! Man, join the club. That sounds awful. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that NASA is using WordPress for their website now, and I know that some other big agencies are using WordPress. What the legality side of things looks like behind that, I have no idea. And that's all I can say, because that sounds like a nightmare. Let me know if you find out, though, or if anyone else knows. I don't even know. I mean, it's not uncommon, particularly for the healthcare side of things. Those of you who have healthcare clients, they're probably asking for addendums to your contract, which is understandable. They may be taking private information or sensitive information. But whoo. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that, it might depend on whether it's just an information site and more of a directory, or whether you're actually engaging and pulling in information. I don't know if that's a niche that you're trying to get into, Veteran Vibes, but if you are, Godspeed. Godspeed. Yeah. Drewski feels the same. Awesome, guys. All right, Bev says, makes sense on the 6-figure tips. Awesome, guys. Again, if you want to help get into 6 figures, jump into Web Designer Pro, my friends. It's a great time, early fall. Let's freaking go. You can learn from me. You can learn from so many incredible members in Pro who are getting there. There's a special offer for you below in the description. It's going to give you 50% off your first month. I would highly recommend jumping into the community tier, just because you're going to go a lot further faster. If you just want time to just ease into the Web Designer Pro world and just go through some of my courses, the courses tier, that's what that is available for you. But I don't recommend staying in just the courses long, because if you really want to get somewhere fast, you know what? Let me show you this real quick. I wasn't actually going to do this because it's not officially live, but I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. And just a heads up, there may be some grammatical errors with this. There may be, it's not perfect yet because I'm officially launching it early next week. But one thing I'm doing on the new version of Web Designer Pro is the site is I'm creating like full-on success stories and case studies like we did here with my first official feature, Sam Sarsden, who joined Pro in 2023 and has his own YouTube channel now, has a literal multi-6-figure web design agency. Sam let me know recently that he has generated $350,000 since joining Pro in January of 2023. And this is his story. So I'm going to put this in the chat for you. Why did I show you this? I'm trying to think of why I showed you this. Oh, it's about the community, because one thing that Sam really let me in on and is really clear about is because he jumped up to the coaching tier immediately. I will say Sam is extremely driven. So I cannot guarantee your results, but I will tell you the pros who jump in and are fully committed and utilize the community, utilize my coaching, they are getting crazy results. And again, I can't guarantee you're going to make $350,000 in 3 years, but by golly, I can confidently say you'll get to 6-figure, even if you're just on the community level. You get further if you want to jump into coaching, which is available right now as well. I just opened up the coaching tier. So check this out. Sam's story is really inspiring. I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff to share. This also links out to some of our other interviews if you want to learn more about how he actually got to 6 figures, well, specifically 350, Sam was just on the podcast last week sharing about what is behind his local SEO services, which is his growth plan, which has been key to getting to this point because, Sam actually in this let me know that he had a 10x revenue increase within 2 years. He made $25K in the first year. This year, he's on track to surpass 250. So yeah, check this out. Hope this gives you some inspiration, and I hope to see you in pro, because if you want to be the next Sam, number one, you got to be a wild person, because Sam is wild and he went all in, but it is possible. You just got to find your lane, got to have the path. But as I say in here, Sam had the fuel, man, I'll tell you what. So I hope that helps. You will get a lot more faster results as a coaching and community level member. But Sam actually started with courses just to learn. He went through the business course and a couple other courses, then jumped up immediately to coaching. So you can do it as well, my friends. Check that out. Let me know what you think. And again, that's actually a new framework I'm doing inside. Hey, do you guys want to see Divi 5 real quick? I can show you how I built that if you're curious. Let me know. I don't know who's all using what tools, but if you would like to get a peek behind webdesignerpro.com and see Divi 5, I can show you how I built that page because it's a custom post type. Jake says most healthcare sites are info, and you can't really get into data without SOC2 and HIPAA hosting. Okay, that makes sense. Glad you know about that, Jake. Yeah. And again, yeah, I mean, that makes sense because most healthcare sites have third-party systems that take the actual medical data. So that makes sense. But I did have a client who was a surgeon who wanted to, I think he wanted to ask for like crazy sensitive data on the contact form. And I was like, this isn't something that I feel comfortable putting on the contact form. So yeah, never know. And yes, Austin will tell you in regards to Sam, who knew that the man can karaoke like a wild man, as we found out in our last in-person meetup for Web Designer Pro. Holy cow, in our WDP Con. So Web Designer Pro members, if any of you are here, if you missed the announcement, we just nailed down the dates for that. ProCon 2026, April 17th through 18th. Coaching tier members get first dibs at tickets for our in-person events. So yet another reason to join the coaching tier, guys. Well, really, gosh, I'm pumped about next year already. Now we got to just wait freaking 6 months. Okay, Bev says, yes, Divi 5. We'll look at that next. I missed a couple questions from Lilia, so let me get to these, and then we'll jump into Divi 5. How the hell is it 2:43? I thought this was like 20 minutes. Wow. Time flies by when you're having fun on YouTube. Man, good questions, guys. Hope you're having fun too. I set a summer offer as my homepage. It's over. I made a portfolio for the root domain. Okay. I want to reuse that summer page next year or make it evergreen. What's the best practice to go about it? Well, I guess it depends on, if it's just an offer page. So you had a summer offer as my homepage. I made a portfolio for the root domain. I don't know why that would need to be on a different domain, Lily. I would just save a layout, basically, like have a fall offer, or have your standard homepage, but then have a specific offer page that could eventually be updated. Treat it as like an offer, like a sales page that's just a specific offer. So maybe you have your normal homepage and then highlight it as check out our fall offer if you need to go about it like that. This depends on what's different with it. Personally, depending on how many clients you need, I would just make your homepage the offer and then just change it. Like save your main normal homepage as a layout or a template, and then roll your new offer page up. Let's say it's a Black Friday offer. You start November 1st and you go through the end of November. Then December 1st, you just put your old layout back. I would not put it on a different domain. I would just have it on there as either a new layout that you flip back to, or an actual like offer page. Because the danger of flipping layouts, I will say, on a homepage is that's going to just confuse Google a little bit. Like you don't want Google and subsequently all the large language models to think about or get to know your offer pricing. So let's say like your prices are 25% off with Black Friday. You don't want that necessarily to be like your homepage details online. So I would personally go with just an offer page. And maybe it's a pop-up that comes up that says, check out our fall offer, 25% off service, or, whatever it is. Maybe it's a bonus. Yeah, whatever it is. And then an additional question, then we'll look at some Divi 5 stuff if you guys want to see this. Yes, I would appreciate tips on getting solid back-end foundation for web design business for coaches, yoga teachers, similar professionals, such as workflows and templates. Back-end foundation. So you'll have to let me know, Lily. I'm not getting the question exactly. This could be me. This could be on me. This could be on me. Oh, here we go. Okay, so can you please share how to go about setting templates, creating a repository, and selling them online? This kind of depends on your tool stack, your builder, Lilia. For me, using Divi, I can create either a section or a full page or a full site and download that whole thing and save it as a template. There's a variety of plugins now for Divi specifically that allow me to create an install plugin. Basically, for example, like I have a child theme for inside my business course. It's my web design business child theme. It's like a starter site for everyone who joins Pro and just needs a starting point. And what you'll find there is when you download that, it'll just come with a WordPress plugin. You export that or you upload it to your site, and then there's a one-click button that'll literally, it just puts all the pages in, puts the initial layout, and you just need to have Divi. So that's how you do it in Divi, but pretty much any tool you'll have the option to save as library items. So yeah, can't give you exact specifics on that. It kind of depends on your tool stack, but that idea, and then selling them online, most places now have a marketplace. So like in my case, using Divi, Divi has a marketplace. I could either sell these layouts through my site as they're usually like a file. In Divi world, it kicks out a JSON file if it's just a one-page layout. If it's a full site with multiple pages, it's going to come as a plugin. And that's what you would actually sell via your site or on a marketplace. Yep. Derek wants to know, Josh, do you still keep in contact with the old Divi chat gang? How are they? Let's see. Sarah Oates retired from web design. So I haven't talked to her in a long time. Tim Streifler is just super busy. So we'll chat every once in a while, Derek. Tim is still a great friend of mine. Just love what he's up to. He's the founder and owner of Divi Life. I know they've been very, very busy getting ready for the full launch of Divi 5, which I believe is beta out now officially. If not, they're super close. So I know that he has been buried with making sure that all of his plugins are Divi 5 ready and compatible with Divi 4. So Tim's doing well from what I know. Let's see who else was staying. I haven't talked to David Blackman in a while, or Corey. We'll have to. It's a good reminder, Derek. Maybe I'll reach out and catch up with those guys. Stephanie Hudson is the one I was probably, additionally from Tim, the closest to in that gang. And Stephanie is still really active in Web Designer Pro and is still my number one referral source for if you don't want to do website maintenance and hosting, use them. Focus WP will do that for you. Heads up, this is an affiliate link, but if you guys are interested in that, if you want to build recurring revenue, but you don't want to do the actual hosting and maintenance in development, you can literally hire Steph and her team at Focus WP. If you use my link, you will get a discount, and make sure you tell them I sent you, because you can even do this for development support, by the way. Depending on your tool stack, as long as they feel comfortable with it, you can hire them to be basically your like developer and support people on call. So highly recommend it. Again, you can use my affiliate link, which will take you here, and make sure you tell them I sent you if you use them, because it's a great way to build additional recurring revenue, but not actually do the work. Yes, you'll make much smaller margins, but if you don't want to do support or maintenance, that's the way to go. Good stuff, guys. Jeremiah said, yeah, beta is not out yet. That's what I thought, Jeremiah. I thought I saw an announcement that it was going to be out. I thought it was like a tomorrow thing. I don't know if they were like, hey, take that down, we're not ready. That's possible. But we are definitely close. There's no doubt about that. And we'll look at Divi 5 next. Sorry, Bev, you and a few other folks are hanging. Last question real quick from Lilia, and then I'll show you Divi 5, and then we'll do final questions. I'm a newbie currently refining my starter offer for the wellness niche. what do you suggest as a basic starter website package? I would have two routes. One that is a startup and has no brand at all and needs a logo and brand design. And then I would have one that's more of a redesign for an established brand. So I would have two different packages, and I would call it a starter package because they're going to need logo, brand, and a website design. I would do more of like a website in a day or a website in a week. Like keep it as a template. You probably know what an ideal wellness website would look like, especially if it's similar niches. So I would just try to base it off a template. Don't go custom. Get them through the door, start building recurring revenue with maintenance plans and just build your client list. And then I would have a bigger, more custom offer for those who need to go, a little further. That's how I'd go about that. All right. I promised you guys I would show you just a little bit about how I built what you saw here with Sam's. Let me open up a couple windows here. So if you just joined us, welcome into the end of the Q&A here. So I showed this a little bit ago. So this is Sam's success story. Now this is a post type, meaning this is actually a blog post. And I did some customization on here, but what's interesting about this, and you can do this with other builders. I just want to show you how I did this with Web Designer Pro with Divi 5. If I go in to edit this post, watch this. I'm going to edit this. But where did the header stuff go? Like, where did the hero section go? I don't see it. You may say, what in the Sam? And you may say that not just because it's Sam's post, but because you heard me say that or whoever says that. Because this has my join section for Pro. So it's got the pricing tables and it's got the meet your coach section. But if I go in here in the page, the post, that is not there. Where are they? Where are they coming from? You may rightly wonder. Well, my friend, in Divi 5, I am using the Divi theme builder. Many reasons I have hung with Divi and stayed with it is because you can do a lot of cool things with the theme builder. Again, I think you could do this with a lot of other tools as well. So if you don't use Divi, you could use this structure with Elementor or anything else. But what I have here is, you'll see this right here. I created the global footer that I have across my site and then a custom body section here that is only applied to success stories, the tag of success stories. So when I do a post, if I categorize it success stories, it will automatically have this custom layout. And I can drill into this custom layout. And this is where that's pulling from. So this right here, you'll see this data is just blank text, like blank info. As soon as I populate this post data, like once I give it a featured image, once I title this a post, that's what's going to show up right here. And then this little section is what you see over here inside of this post. So when I actually create a post, I'm using the Divi builder. What I create right here, it looks different than what you see on the outside of the site. That's what's going on right here. So this is just a placeholder text, and anything I create in a post is going to show up right there. And then this is where I also put the pricing tables as my footer call to action section. And then if for any reason someone sees $350,000 and isn't ready to commit to Pro, they can at least get to know me here. So that's how this layout is set up. And this is what it looks like on the front end. So let me know if, that's just a glimpse of how I'm doing this. So we could do a quick one real quick here. We'll just have some fun and mess around with this. YouTube Live. I'm going to do this quick because I need to head out shortly at the top of the hour. YouTube Live 10:15. Cool. Let's put let's see here. Let's put a featured image. We'll just take one from our media library. Let's do, perfect. There we go. We'll do that one. And then we're going to use the Divi builder. I will publish this, but I'll delete it immediately, so it'll be fine. And I'm actually going to build from scratch on this one. So we are going to use like a fresh Divi layout. And the one thing you do need to change on this is the page setting. Oh, that's right. I need to go to the actual post. Let's do this. Before you get into the Divi builder, at least in this case, until they change this, you can set the page to be left sidebar or full width. Actually, let's keep the right sidebar and I'll show you what this looks like, because again, whatever I put in right here is going to be on the content section. So let's go pre-made layout. And actually, I guess we could start off with Sam. Actually, we'll do Alexia's. I'm working on Alexis, working on Alexis's post here. So her content is going to go in right here based off of this layout. And then we'll just publish this and I'll show you what this will look like real quick. Because again, in the theme builder, what I'm doing in the theme builder is displayed here. And the content that I just put in that post type is going to show up right here. So let's look at this on the front end. So there we go. The featured image I set in there. And this, I didn't give it a category. Duh. Let's go to the post. I have to set it to the right category. Let's have a look. Here we go. Category, success story. There we go. Let's try that again. Now, with that set as a success category tag based off of this template, now when I refresh, it should look like that template minus this little sidebar. Check this out. Hey-o. Cool beans, right? So again, whatever I put right here, oh, and I didn't do the sidebar. That's cool. So it just takes the builder. Very cool. So whatever, basically, when I do a new post that's a success story, it's based off of this theme builder layout, which is in Divi. This gives me options to do all kinds of stuff. I did this also on the recap of our event earlier this year. You'll notice the menu is different. The menu is actually a zip down menu to all these sections of this full breakdown post. And the menu is different from the homepage. The homepage has this menu. That's built right here. I said for this one page, I created a menu for this one page. It's this one right here. And then with the Divi theme builder, I set this to only show on a specific page right here. So that's how I did it. Pretty cool. So let me, before I forget about this, trash this. Did I publish it? I published it. So let's trash it. But that's how we do it. That is how I created different menus and some different post types using Divi 5. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you didn't use Divi, if you don't use Divi, sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed that and hope it gives you some inspo. All right, guys, final call for questions. I do need to head out here at the top of the hour. So okay, cool. I think we're good on that. Yes, for business, says Lilia. Derek has a previous live question. How many albums did your old band sell? How many years were y'all playing? I don't know how many albums we sold, Derek. We weren't we were independent, so we never had like a full list of how many albums we sold. I can only assume. And a lot of it's digital. We still actually make money digitally. If you want to have fun and search This Fire's Embrace, go for it. We still do make I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks a month. So we sell like singles and sell, some. We don't just sell full albums anymore though. But I can only assume millions. Awesome. Thanks, Bev. Glad that was good stuff for you. Awesome, Lilia. Glad that helped. Final questions here, guys. Final question is going to go to Debbie. Hey, Debbie. If a client needs logo design or branding for their new or updated website, what do you suggest if I don't offer this level of service and I'm a grower? If you don't offer it, what I would do, Debbie, is partner with a web designer pro who does branding and wants to be a referral partner for that. What is tricky is if you have a terrible logo and a brand, you guys all know you never want to build a website off of a terrible brand. So what I would do is you can offer a light text-driven branding package. Jamie Starcevich was on the podcast a while back talking about this. Here we go, guys. That's in the chat for you. So check this out, Debbie. Anyone who doesn't want to offer branding or logo design yourself, the options are to either hire it out completely with a referral partner who's trusted, or you can do Jamie's approach, which is to offer a light branding package. These can be anywhere from $500 to $5,000. And it basically gives you just the opportunity to make a very basic logo that is one option, and then really, really basic brand styles like font colors, font styles, typography, just the basics of branding. So check this out. I think this would really help you, Debbie. So give that a go and let me know what you think. Derek, the band is called, I tell you what, let me just give you the link of my favorite song that we did, because we had some stuff that I'm not a fan of. And unfortunate thing about being in a band is it's a democracy, meaning you can't be a dictator. And there were so many things that we did that I was like, guys, do we have to do this? I don't want to do this. And I wish they would have listened to me on at least 90% of them. So I hope you guys like some heavy rock. So here is, I'll put this in the chat if you guys want to hear me on drums. There you go. The song that I most prefer of ours was called Beast Inside of Me. And if you are feeling mad at a client, you could bookmark it and go back to it. Thank you, Sam. Good to see Sam. Sam, you jumped on late, but I was just showing off your success story and a little bit about how I built it with Divi 5 using the post types and the custom theme builder in Divi. So thank you, Sam. Thank you, dude, for the incredible testimonial recently, which is going to be live on YouTube soon. And that, allowing me to do that post with like real numbers, huge thanks to you, Sam. So, yeah, Sam is the man, guys. Sam is our official Web Designer Pro partner in all things local SEO. He's sharing what he's doing with his business to get to that 350 in 3 years. So Sam is an additional coach to learn from, especially when it comes to SEO. Thank you so much, Drewski. I appreciate it. Yeah, guys, I did mention my daughter has a major surgery up next week, so I will be a little MIA for at least a couple weeks. But I'm planning on things resuming once we get into our new routine of therapies and recovery. Planning on getting back into the swing of things by first week of November. So thank you, guys. Glad this was a help, Lilia. All right, guys. Everyone have an awesome rest of the week. Again, in the description below is your special offer to jump into Pro. 50% off your first month, courses or community tier on the monthly options. I really would recommend just jumping into community. You're going to get so much value. You're going to go a lot further faster, just like Sam articulated here. We do have fun. We have a whole lot of fun. We do this type of thing on a whole nother level inside of Pro. So jump on in, guys. Jeremiah, is there a way to join Web Designer Pro, just be part of the network? I may be looking for a support person as we scale up. There's 3 tiers, Jeremiah. For you, I would join the community tier, which it does automatically give you access to the courses as well. But I would say if you're considering scaling up, you're going to want the courses, because if you're hiring somebody, you want them to be able to potentially jump into the courses as well. I do offer a team option. So Jeremiah, when you join, if you're interested in the community tier, let me know if you have a team member who you'd like to have a profile, because we can arrange that if they're going to be ongoing as a part of your membership. So yeah. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. She says the community is so worth it. It is, guys. It's just, it really is truly hard to articulate on a live stream until you experience it. Like, the people are just freaking awesome. You guys have met Sam, you've met Austin, you've met Jennifer here. Quite a few Web Designer Pros have been here. They're just awesome people. It's just the best dang little corner of the internet. Yeah, so that's why I'm going to be hanging out after this. Helene says, super helpful link about the branding. Just what I need. Awesome, Helene. Go for it. Get that light branding package. Jennifer, yes, I do have a team option. So DM me, Jennifer. We can get that set up for you. As of right now, it's basically a 50% off membership to the courses tier for the team option. So that's what I have set up currently for anyone who has a team member who isn't going to need to be in the community. They just need to have access to the courses. And of course, as a member, I want to give you and your team a special deal. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions on that. We'll get you all set up. Awesome, Jeremiah. Can't wait to hopefully see you in pro. And then let's talk about scaling, man. Let's freaking rock and roll. Can't wait to talk numbers with you and goals and everything else. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. Fun session as always. Keep going, guys. All the resources below for you to join pro. And at the very least, pick up my revenue calculator by joining my newsletter. And until next month, thank you for your well wishes for my daughter for the upcoming surgery. And I'll see you guys for our November Q&A date to be announced soon. All right, guys. Cheers. Have a great rest of the week.